Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. My name is Jim Shirley, and in the next couple of days, you're going to be getting a series of videos that will help you boost the traffic to your website this year, and really it can start as soon as today. And in this day one video series, what I'm going to show you is a couple of plugins to install if you're using WordPress, and then we're going to, let me bring up my notes here. We're going to install those plugins. We're going to look at our setup for the XML Sitemap, and then we're going to set up our website in Google Webmasters and add that sitemap in. So this is all pretty straightforward stuff. We're going to keep it really non-technical. There's not going to be anything technical to do here except copying and pasting. So if you can do that, then you can do everything I'm going to show you today. However, I will talk through this from a sort of technical standpoint, just so you kind of understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. This whole idea with the plugins and the sitemap and Google Webmasters is a series of events that's going to establish or link our website with the search engine, so that there's a open line of communication between the two, the website and Google. And then basically we can ensure with that line of communication open that it's clear exactly what our website is about is being sent to Google, and that Google's receiving it. So and then the benefit of doing all these steps that I show you today, which actually isn't that many, is that we are going to be set up so that all of this communication that needs to happen so that your site always stays up to date in Google, and they always know, the search engine always knows everything about your site, all that stuff's going to be automated once we go through these simple steps. So I love it when stuff's automated, so that it's kind of set it and forget it, and that's kind of what we're doing here. So if for some reason you do not use WordPress, then this whole thing about the plugin and setting up the plugin is stuff you can kind of fast forward through. I think all total this video will be about 10 minutes, so probably the first 5 will be 5 or 6 will be just talking about those plugins. Then we'll get into the Google Webmasters piece, and no matter what kind of site or service your website is built with, you do want to go through this process that I'll be showing you. So that's it. Let's get started. Now, what I'm going to do, what I've done, I've logged into a site that I use primarily for marketing and sales pages. So I don't really do any search engine optimization related stuff with this site at all. And that makes it perfect, because that way we can you can look over my shoulder while I add this stuff, and it'll be really clear how I set it up. So what we're going to do, I've logged into my WordPress dashboard here, and I'm in the plugins area, and what I'm going to do is add a new plugin. And the first one is called, we'll search by XML Sitemap. It's called XML Sitemap in Google News. Okay, so let's install that. Boom, and we can activate it. We'll look at the settings here in a minute. Okay, for now, we're back on the plugins page. Let's just click the button to add another plugin. Okay, so this next one is called Header and Footer. I'm just going to search on header. You have to be careful with what you search with in the plugins repository on WordPress, but in this case it's going to come up header and footer. This is the plugin we're looking for. And what I'm going to do is, right below this video, I'm going to paste a document that has the outline, notes, and then I'll give you the links to and the names of these plugins so that it's easy for you to find them. Let's activate that. Okay, so that's going to be activated, and then what's going to happen is we're going to be able to get to the settings for these either by clicking settings here, or in the case of header and footer, we'll just have to go over here into our menu and hover, and then header and footers in the list. So We don't need to do anything with that right now, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at the settings for XML Sitemap. I just want to talk through a couple of easy things here. And there's two types of website that I typically see and work with. There's blogs, and there are websites that are basically for businesses where they don't really do any blogging. So mostly what they're trying to index are like e-commerce pages or the website. So I want to bring this up because you need to be conscious about where is most of your content. Is it in pages or is it in posts? Some e-commerce sites use posts for the e-commerce stuff. Business websites tend to have a lot more pages. Blogs tend to have a lot more posts. So I want to bring this up because for this XML sitemap, we're going to be able to go in here and assign a priority to posts and to pages. So, and that priority is right here. The rest of this stuff we can just kind of leave alone. So if this were a business website, what I would want to do is basically just minimize the priority on posts and maximize my priority on pages. Okay, and then the opposite is true if it's a blog and most of your content is in posts. Then we just want to minimize the priority on pages and maximize our priority on posts. Okay. So just wanted to walk through that with you really quick. And the rest of this stuff we don't really have to do a lot with. The one thing I would point out though is that if you have specific categories that you want to not include, then I guess if you have a lot of categories, I think if I remember correctly, what happens here is you can pick and choose which categories you want. So just make sure you do that. Okay, so those are our site settings. I can roll down here and save changes. Okay, and then you're all set there. Now, what we're going to do next is bounce over to Google Webmasters. So if you just type in your browser google.com/webmasters, then you'll see that there. And then basically you just need a Gmail account. Maybe you already have Google Analytics set up. That's great. With your Gmail account, you may have to sort of go through a setup process initially. I'm already set up, and so if I click sign in, then I'm going to bounce right inside. So let's do that. Let me move the screen here a bit. And okay, so I'm going to land on the console page with all the web properties, and all we have to do here is add a property. So it may take you, if you've never set up your Google Webmasters account before, then you may have a couple of additional steps just in terms of, again, kind of getting signed up to be logged into Webmasters. And again, you do need a Gmail account. Once you're in though, then this is basically what you'll see is a search console with no web pages, and you just add a property. And that property we're going to do is a website, so we'll leave that. And then let's do your internetlifestyle.com. Spell it right. Okay, add. And now the next couple of pages are important. So it's going to recommend that you upload an HTML file to the web server where your website is hosted. You can certainly do that. That's a rather technical way, and certainly if you're familiar with FTP and moving files on your web server, this is, absolutely you're welcome to use this. If not, all you have to do is click on this other tab, Alternative Methods, and then basically I'll show you how to use this HTML tag, and we'll use that header and footer plugin that I showed you before to do it. Now I do want to point out that your other good option here is if you've already set up your website on Google Analytics, then you can just use the script that you installed for your Google Analytics and basically kind of sync everything up with that. So check that out. If that doesn't work for you, or if you don't have a Google Analytics account, then or your website set up on Google Analytics, then you can use this HTML tag method. And like I told you, all we have to do here, the most technical thing we'll do is just copy this. So copy it, and then we're going to go back to our website, which is just another tab I have open here. So what I'm going to do is expand settings here. I want to go to header and footer. Okay. And then header and footer is basically just a plugin that lets me put those special codes in that head section. So just like they ask me to, copy the meta tag below and paste it into your site's homepage. It should go in the head section before the first body section. Okay, a bunch of technical HTML stuff there, but with this header and footer plugin, all we have to do is basically just come in here, paste it in, and I did it on every page. You can do it on just the home page. I'm going to put it on every page because sometimes I rotate what my home page is. Once I've done that, then all I need to do is scroll down to the bottom and click Save. Okay, so that looks good. And then if everything's worked, then we can go back over here to Google Webmasters. Sometimes you have to kind of wait a while or refresh your website a little bit, but you can just click this verify button. Let's see if it worked. Yay. All right, so I've verified my ownership. Now the next thing I want to show you relates back to that XML sitemap. Okay, so now according to my dropdown, I'm on the new site I just set up in Google Webmasters, and I've got this sitemap section. So why submit a sitemap? You can read more about it if you want here, but we're just going to click that header and then add test a sitemap. Okay, and what's going to happen now is we've got a sitemap that is going to be created for us automatically by that plugin, and generally speaking, the address, the page where that sitemap is found is just sitemap.xml. So it'll be your website address .com or .org or whatever yours is /sitemap.xml. And let's test that out. Okay. No errors found. It did find it. So close test. So that's, an easy way to just see if it works. And now we can submit it. Okay, so that's it. So now what we've done is set up inside of Google's labyrinth of labs our website, and now with between this header and footer plugin and our XML sitemap plugin, we've established this constant automatic line of communication between Google and our website, so that now all the good rest of the stuff I'll be showing you for search engine optimization and that stuff will be easily communicated between the two with no additional effort on your part. So that's that for this video. I'm sorry it went a little long, but we'll see you tomorrow in the next set.